Hey, brothers and sisters on the healing path. I'm Scott Giles, board-certified diplomate of the National Guild of Hypnotism. Today I want to talk about rescuing. Now, I want to be clear. If we're talking about minor children, people with a disability or a handicap, then they often do need more help than other people, and it's a generous and kind thing to provide that help. But when we're talking about normally functioning adults, you have to be very, very careful about trying too much to help them. There are people, for good or ill, who just go through their entire life expecting other people to hold them up. This is never a good idea, and it's never healthy for them. But we try to live our lives as generous and kind people, and so we tend to want to help out. But if you do too much of that, you're actually creating literally a monster. In transactional analysis, a form of psychology or philosophy of understanding how the mind and relationships work, there's a thing we call the Karpman dramatic triangle. It has three players: a victim, a rescuer, and a persecutor. We see this a lot with alcohol or substance abuse. The person who identifies as the victim is the addict. There's a reason why the addict is abusing whatever drug has been chosen, and the reason always is that there's a persecutor which is making the addict's life unfair or difficult. And what they do is they try to find a rescuer who will keep helping them. So an alcoholic comes home and passes out in the hallway, and then there's the loving spouse who picks the person up and showers them off, tucks them into bed, and the next day calls the boss to say that they're sick. Well, what the rescuer is actually doing is facilitating. By protecting the alcoholic from the consequences of his or her behavior, you're actually allowing the drinking to continue. This is true of a lot of things, not just substance abuse. People will often chronically make foolish or impulsive decisions about gambling, money, or just relationship issues. And their lives are often just one great big long state of crisis. And they look for people who help them out when there are problems. And if you do that, you're protecting them from ever having to deal with the consequences of their behavior, and therefore they're not going to change or grow. One of the difficulties that we sometimes see is a person who makes a decision to help people professionally. There are certain professions, ministry, nursing, social work, counseling, that often attract people who like to overfunction and overcare, often as a way of dealing with an internal lack of self-love or confidence. You try to kind of buy your way in relationships by doing more than you should. And these people especially become the real victims because they rescue other people, so typically they forget to take good care of themselves, and they get weaker and angrier and eventually de-energized and sick. So rescuing's never a good idea. You got to set limits and boundaries with other people. You need to know where you leave off and other people begin, and not cross that line, or at least not very often. Because if you do, you're actually not rescuing. You're actually doing a form of injury. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. Please, if you like this video, hit like, and also feel free to subscribe to my channel. That actually helps me. Take care, and now I gotta go.